information age and in the era that we're living in now, with so much information coming your way through social media, all forms of social media, it is important that people have a no-compromise strategy for how they consume information. You know, you must strategize for it and be deliberate about not spending your time reading and absorbing information that's not furthering your agenda, or that's not serving
so
your
purpose. You mean what you're saying is you need to make a decision all the time. So, for example, I mean, besides social media, for example, if someone listening to me right now has an ambition to become a medical doctor, for example, and I say, well, come and spend some time with me, and maybe you can do a talk show host part-time. It's like, okay, I'll give it a chance. But if that takes them away from being a medical doctor, if that's their goal, that's a problem, isn't it? That's what you're talking about.
That's a big problem.
You make the decision on what your goal is. Don't let somebody else decide for you.
Exactly, so that you don't get seduced into these nice meetings, or, the ones that sound nice. But, the question is always, does this serve my goal? Does this serve my purpose? And if the answer is no, you say no to the meeting.
Do I get it that not enough people, therefore, spend enough time on actually working out what their goals are? Very often the goals are decisions made by other people. They don't really make a firm decision and then strategize and then work out how they're going to get there.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I know that you talk a lot about jobs and careers. So if somebody is busy navigating their career in a big organization, one of the things is to say, all right, I want to get promoted from this junior team leader position to a managerial position, and then understand what are the habits, what are the things that they need to do daily that's going to take them towards that promotion. And let's say one of those habits is about playing more of a leadership role in meetings, or being more progressive and solution-oriented in meetings, then stick to that process and make sure you are the most prepared in all meetings. Make sure that when you get to meetings, you are a participator, not just a spectator. But again, I'm sort of advocating that you really become obsessed with that process that gets you to that goal, and not just being hungry for that goal.
So every time, for whatever reason, you have a goal and you slip up somewhat, you sort of almost, get distracted, right? To what Alan Gray admitted, if I'm correct there, this is wonderful one about distraction. How then do you, get yourself back onto line? I mean, is it your decision or somebody else's? Because sometimes when you're distracted, then you don't even know you're offline.
So we talk about having deliberate rest days, right, Ashraf? So when we talk about rest as a strategy, we don't talk about rest as something that happens after work, but it's more something that happens before work. So it's more contemplative rest as opposed to relaxation. And it's important that you make time for contemplation because of this reason. It's about reviewing, it's about having foresight and contemplating different scenarios, so that you do plan for all eventualities. So you say, if I do get this thing right, what's my next step? How do I respond? But it's also about saying, if I fail, if I do get sidetracked, what's my strategy for jumping back onto the right path?
Absolutely, good point.
I think so many times this thing catches us by unawares, and then you start making default decisions, right? The thing and the beauty about being contemplative is that you can be more deliberate and design your decisions for any eventuality that may happen. Yeah.
All right, let's leave it at that for today. What I'm going to ask you to do is maybe tweet me 5 or 6 points, as you've done before, to me with the hashtag Afternoon Talk, in terms of good advice, how to stay focused on your goals. I'll share that with listeners as well. All right? And awesome. That's Quinton Douman, Douman is that surname.